All right, how are we starting it first?
So we're gonna talk about Chris's Duramax
Okay,
and his monstrosity of a truck that he had a couple years ago. Chris, how did that truck all come evolve? Like, was that your goal to get a kind of truck like that big of a truck?
Growing up, I've always wanted to lift a truck, and I don't think I always wanted a diesel truck, but I think Chris.
You always wanted the monster truck.
I always wanted. I don't know that I necessarily. I don't really remember. I think I wanted to top everybody.
But I think
else.
it came from our evolve of us mudding, and we wanted the bigger trucks. We wanted the big
Yeah,
truck
yeah,
to
it definitely
with.
did. Yeah, we used to, as a kid, when we first started riding dirt bikes, we had this spot we used to ride at, and then like we used to go mudding and stuff like that. But I think that is where it originated. And a lot of our friends, Chris and I and Carlos, we all had friends that had mud trucks per se, but they were like smaller trucks, but nobody had like diesel trucks. So I think that's where I got the diesel from. I wanted like a diesel truck, and I wanted to make it like the biggest and best truck that I could.
I think everyone had about a 1500 with like a 6-inch lift. So they were running like 35s at least. Nobody was running 40s or 46s at that time. This is like 2010s, 2014. So at that time, everyone's running like they were running like 35s or they were running something smaller. Nobody ran like a big diesel truck at 46 inch tall. They weren't really coming around that much.
No, costs a lot of money to get your truck.
Well, that costs a lot of money, and people don't really mud bog that. This is way before the actual like truck scene was like evolved.
Yeah, like now it's like it's so saturated and like everybody does the same shit. But
Did you see that one trend where they throw like slushies at it?
No.
So there's a trend going on where they go into like the gas station, they get a 7-Eleven slushie, and they throw it at the windshield.
That's dumb.
That's a trend that they're doing now.
Fucking kids with a lot of money. Idiots. They don't appreciate anything.
Well, 7-Eleven, their stock went up because Carl's is here. Chris bought the truck stock at
Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson.
Gibson Truck World.
Excuse me, that's strong.
So it was an actual like crew cab with a long bed, so it was like really, really long and hard.
Yeah, crew cab, 8-foot bed. And
how did you get a hold of, I guess, the guys from Texas to build that lift?
So what? Go ahead, Carlos.
Carlos, you know you built
No, I don't know.
Got something to say about it?
I got nothing to say. Nope.
I wanted a lift that not a lot of people offered. So like most people would get their trucks and bring it to like 4-wheel parts, right? A generic shop that like lifted trucks that were like pro comp lifts, or back in the day they didn't have like
the basic 6-inch lift.
Yeah, like they didn't have like all these different companies that had lifts and stuff like that. It was just very generic. Nobody offered kits that were that big. So I didn't know what size lift I wanted. I just knew I wanted to run 46-inch tall Baja Claw, specifically Baja Claw tires.
Well, I think like, did you like Google like 15-inch lift and see who had?
Yeah, I did. And then like, of course, social media, I met a couple people that had already had 46-inch lift tires or 46-inch tires. And so I kind of started getting ideas of where to get such a lift, because I had to have it 20 inches. Like,
was there a specific like height for the 46-inch tall tires? Like how big of a lift?
18 and up.
So how big was that lift? How tall?
20 inches. Bought an 18-inch lift, but the people that I got the lift kit from, they fabbed the lift in their shop. It was like a custom lift kit. It wasn't like a bolt-on. So they actually fabbed it up to be a 20-inch just to be able to clear the, I want to say front bumper, but it wasn't the front bumper. It was the back of the wheel well, actually. The front bumper was good because it had a road armor bumper. Had plenty of clearance, but the rear, it still almost would rub if you turned it really sharp. But
so imagine like taking a tape measure 20 inches and go to a truck and just basically putting 20 inches higher than what is the stock. That's basically what it was. It was that high.
And I'm not a fan of the skate. I don't know if they still call it skating. That was like a term they used back then. But
because Chris got the truck lifted from Texas. He went to Texas and got it lifted.
Yeah.
And had to drive it back on stock wheels. So
third coast suspension, I think it was.
Yeah, third coast. But you drove it back on stock wheels, right?
Yeah, 20-inch lift on stock wheels looked pretty weird going down the road.
It's pretty skippy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got a lot of attention from that, though.
Skip leg day.
You got a lot of attention from that.
Yeah, I did. Everybody used to be like,
I'm pretty sure
I saw
have
you going down the road, man, on the highway when you're
I'm
coming
like
home.
90% sure I have a picture of the skip wheels.
I do. I got plenty of it. I'll put it up there. I'll put it up.
Yeah, I was going to send you actually a bunch of pictures that I have.
You're sending me spam on through email. You know that?
What?
I'll pull it up. My email, you're sending me like spam.
Spam?
Yeah, it's spam.
What do you mean?
It goes into your spam folder?
I'll show you later.
Okay, because I'm like, I'm not sending you emails.
I'll show you later. Yeah. But anyway, he drove that truck back from Texas with the stock wheels and tires. Look skimpy.
Yeah.
People were doubting it, like, oh, the 46s aren't gonna fit. Oh,
Yeah.
this and that. Like, yeah. Well,
Yeah, talking about like, oh, it has to be something about, has to be X amount lifted from a pinch weld. I don't know, talking about something about the pinch welds.
Apparently, everyone's a lift kit expert. So
Yeah, when you start getting into like big lifts, everybody wants to tell you how to do it when literally nobody else has done it except for one other person.
That's the best part.
same with race cars too. They think you know.
Yeah,
It really,
it's
it's like that with everything.
My dad's uncle's brother has got a faster car than
Yeah,
that piece of shit.
friend of a friend of a friend of a friend
Sure.
had
All right.
one.
That's just
Cool.
how it is. Yeah.
Don't even have it anymore. Had one.
But so he finally got the wheels on.
Yeah.
and then it just became a monstrosity of a
Shout
truck.
out to Next Level Audio
Next
on
Level
Orange and
Audio.
Michigan if you live in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, if you live in Orlando, Florida, go to Next Level. It's a shout out.
Yeah.
They did pretty good work. putting
The
this
owner
place together.
there, Steven, is a great guy. I don't think he owns the place still, but I think he has another shop. But I haven't talked to him in years, but he was a really good dude. He really hooked it
They
up.
do a lot of audio, video.
Yeah, and he used to. I remember he used to, bring me to like shows and stuff. Like we'd go to shows, and he would like pay for my truck to get in with his company and everything. The whole experience was really cool, just because I had the truck. You know what I mean? I got a couple doors opened, so to speak.
He takes care of the people that.
Yeah, Steven's a really good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So once that truck got together, it was a neck turner, you could say, because everybody would always take pictures.
Yeah, it was cool. I'd go to the mall. It was my daily driver, so I'd like go to the mall and stuff, and you'd see these like the Florida Mall, all these like people.
Yeah,
from,
the local mall.
Yeah, but all these people from like overseas or whatever, like they never seen anything like that. You know what I mean? So they would be like, "Oh my god!" They'd all be taking pictures as we drove by. So I just stopped and let them take the pictures. It was cool. It was
There's
a cool
always
experience.
somebody taking a photo of the car.
Somebody
or
always
the
just taking a
truck.
photo of it when we
Yeah.
drive by it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a fun truck. It's definitely something you don't see every day. It's a big
yeah,
truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. You didn't.
So
Definitely.
somehow Chris came over to my house when I was riding my dirt bike when I used to ride freestyle motocross, and I think we just put it under my ramp. I basically jumped it.
I
Yeah,
remember that. Yep.
yeah.
That was
By
a
long
that was
shot.
a fun time.
Those are good days.
Yeah. He would just park under my ramp. So he's like, Chris, and he had a nice camera. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
we'll take some photos. I'll jump over it because basically you could put anything under my gap. I have an 80-foot gap of a jump from my ramp to the landing.
FMX ramp. Yeah.
Yeah, my freestyle motocross ramp I rode back in the day. It was about an 80-foot gap. So I basically jumped 3 stories. That's how high I get. So
Yeah, the truck wasn't really an issue jumping over it. It was just the aesthetic.
just the aesthetics, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks cool though.
Of like getting over it, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole shot with the cool truck and the big
yeah.
jump and the dirt bikes and all that. It's kind
Next
of
time
what
we'll
we're
put a
all into.
model there or something,
Oh
I'll put Carlos up there, you know.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. I got
Good
this.
times.
But that was the good times, those trucks.
Yeah.
Going to the beach and those truck meets too.
Yeah.
So.
Used to go to Cowboys a bunch when they had truck pulls. I heard they stopped doing that, which is a shame. Yeah, but like I was saying, like, so the people, they'll lift their truck sky high and they'll put 30 inches as the new biggest wheel. I don't know. I don't keep up with
They'll
that
put
anymore,
30-inch tall tires on there.
But they'll put 30-inch rims.
rims.
With like
skimpy
these
ass tires.
rubber band tires. It's like skating,
Low
flexing, low profile, but it's so ugly. It's like, get some I don't know. I guess I like traditional lifted trucks
doesn't
that have
look
big
right.
ass wheels.
Yeah,
like
it
big
doesn't
ass
look right
tires.
on trucks. It
Yeah.
looks fine on cars and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but like for the most part.
And I was the only one, and they could probably agree with me, that I had the big tires in smaller wheels, and everybody else did it the opposite. Big wheels, small tires.
Yeah, for me, like durability is my forte of with a truck.
Yeah.
That's why my truck has a little bit smaller wheel, the bigger
Yeah.
tire.
Yeah.
That way I could just do, if I run into something, it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, you're not scraping the shit out of your
No, if
your
I hit
rims.
a curb or nothing, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Having that small tire with a bigger tire with a smaller real profile is just the way I like to do it.
Yeah, it's It's like natural. It's like how the old school lifted trucks. They had fucking big ass meaty tires with their 15-inch wheel, right?
Yeah.
skimpy looking.
But with my truck, I like to use it to do stuff with. Is durability. That's what I
Right.
work for. It's not a show truck. The show is an additional. It's not really going to be part of it.
But even then, like you don't need 30-inch. Like you don't need those big wheels.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's not. I mean, to each their own, right? But not for me.
No.
Ugly as shit.
So after, I guess, a year you've had the truck, what was really the conclusion of that truck? Like, why'd you get rid of it?
ready to bring it to the Luddy.
Work related or personal or?
Nah, it was like wasn't realistic to drive around every day, right? I think that's
Crew cab extended bed is really hard to drive around on 46s.
yeah.
How many times did you get pulled over?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
Probably 4 or 5 times.
Especially
got
the-
tickets
For what the headlights or for the tint?
No, it was the height.
Well,
I remember
because
one
of the
cop-
headlights. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
remember
headlights were
one
so
cop,
high.
like one time you were telling me you got pulled over and the guy like pulled out measuring tape.
No, they did every time.
No, they did. Okay.
So
But the one time we got pulled over, he pulled us for speeding though.
well, I did speed a little bit, which is funny because it's such a tank of a truck.
Yeah.
You would think I wouldn't be speeding, but they just the problem is when you have something that obnoxious and big,
They're seeing
draws
that the whole time.
attention.
They're seeing it the whole time.
people just want to fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's so obnoxiously big. They
Yeah,
want to see it.
yeah. They
It
just
just
going
draws
down the road
attention.
and you're like higher than everything, and you're just ridiculous. So anyway, so they would pull me over, and yes, they would pull out a tape measure. So if anybody wants to lift a truck, abnormally large, high, whatever. whatever. Know that there is a law in Florida. I forget. This has been so long ago.
I feel like it's in every state, to be fair.
We're not lawyers, but we're assuming this is what's proper.
Well, in Florida anyway, I can speak for Orlando. Well, Florida, not Orlando, but
Is Orlando in Florida?
There's a certain amount of inches it has to be from the ground to the center of the headlight, right? If it's any higher than that threshold, then it's not legal. Okay, so
I think it's like what 44.
I think it was like 33 or 35. I don't remember what it was, but mine was significantly higher than that. So what I ended up doing was getting DOT approved rigid branded cube lights that went into my bumper.
Yeah.
And they were DOT approved. So I could actually run those at night and turn my headlights off. I think a lot of newer trucks, I don't know if you can turn the headlights off.
You can't. My truck, you could turn it off. If you're parked, you can turn it off. I can't turn it off and drive.
Right. So I was able to turn mine off while driving and run the halos because I had Recon aftermarket headlights. So I was able to run the halos, which looked cool anyway. But I got the DOT approved cube. I don't know if they were like floodlights or what they were. But anyway,
they passed.
Yeah, they would pass because they were DOT. So then I ran those in the bumper and that would be sufficient for the height requirement. So then I would which is ridiculous because those were brighter than my headlights.
Yeah.
So their reasoning for the whole height thing is because you would blind people, right? Like going down the road, you'd blind people.
Yeah.
Well, the fucking rigids were like 10 times brighter than I had like HIDs or LED headlights, but they were 10 times brighter. And then I would go down the road and I like felt bad for people.
Oh my God.
They're
because they would
tall.
they were just like, I could see inside their whole ass cab of their truck or their car. I could see what's in the front seat. Like it was fucking like ridiculous. But anyway.
It's 72 inches, by the way.
72?
No, it wasn't 72.
That's what it said on here.
Wait, no. The height
DOT?
for the headlights, no, it's really short. It's like 40 something.
Either way, I had it printed out, the law, right?
Yeah.
Like I printed it out and kept it in my glove box. So when the motherfuckers pull me over and told my shit was too high, I'd pull out the paper and give it to them.
It was an ongoing thing. Every time we drive it down, we would drive it down the road. We'd always get pulled over for some stupid thing like either tint or the headlights too tall.
Well, they always give me for my tint after
54, sorry.
But his tint was
inches?
His tint was
that was
dark because
taillights.
it was
5%, baby, all the way around.
Yeah, he had 5%.
Can't see in or out. You know
Even
what
the
I'm
front windshield was 5%, which is pretty rough. Anyway, so you got rid of that, and then what was?
I went in a different direction.
You sold it to somebody. Who'd you sold to?
Oh
CarMax,
yeah.
or?
So believe it or not, guys, CarMax gives you really good deals on your car. You bring your car to CarMax. They gave me the most amount of money for my truck. So I sold it to CarMax, right? I had a lot of followers on Instagram because of my truck. So I had a fan, if you will. A fan.
Fanboy.
Like a fan?
Yeah. Fanboy. Yeah. No, I had a fan, didn't know the guy. Out of the blue one day, at like months after I got rid of the truck, he had pictures of it. I don't know where he got these pictures, but he had pictures of the truck and it was burnt to a crisp in the woods. Whoever bought it, brought it to the woods and burned it to a crisp. I'm assuming it's insurance fraud.
I mean, that's what it looked
100%
like.
insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, they just it's funny because the outside of it was fine, but the inside, like the cab was on
burnt to
fire.
crisp.
So that's odd, right? Like why is only the cab on set on fire? Like they clearly set the cab on fire because the outside of the truck was completely fine. Yeah, it was insurance fraud. I'm sure they couldn't probably afford it.
It was very heartbreaking because I don't like seeing cars get destructive.
Yeah, it sucked for me. I mean, I put a lot of time and effort in driving places across to Texas from Florida to get the lifts put on, the wheels, the tires, and everything that I did to it just for somebody to bring it to the woods and burn it up.
Yeah, me seeing a car crushed or a car on fire really breaks my heart.
Yeah,
I like this morning I was watching remember the neon the skyline from the first Fast and Furious, the yellow one, Leon's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The R33. You know they crushed that car.
Didn't
Why?
they have many of those cars?
No, they only had 2 cars at that time because at that time it was like $30,000 to bring that car in.
Oh wow.
So what happened was that car at the time wasn't federally regulated, and the feds got a hold of it and they said you can't have that car,
And they crushed it.
and they ended up crushing that poor car.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
It's just a car.
It's
man.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see. And they had the whole video of it crushing it too.
there's a
Heartbreaking.
YouTuber that I'm watching that brought in an RS6 wagon from overseas.
Yeah.
And the U.S. told him basically he only can have the car on the U.S. for a year.
Burn it to a crisp. I think the guy that actually sent me the pictures bought the truck after they burned it up, and then it turned into a full blown mud truck. It was no longer street legal.
Yeah, you can't after that.
Nah, yeah, he just basically put it back together and turned it into a mud truck. Obviously, the lift was still good. It just wasn't powder coated anymore. It wasn't. Didn't look good.
Well, structure wise, the motor was fine.
Yeah.
The lift was
Structure wise,
fine.
everything was sound, but it just cosmetically it was garbage. garbage. So.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds like it was definitely a total write-off.
Yeah, it was for insurance.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But I mean, it is what it is. You know, and
It's just crazy, man. Like you would never think, right? Like you would think somebody would buy it and like cherish it as much as you did, but fuck,
some people don't
No,
care.
that never happens.
No, never does.
didn't appreciate it at all. I'm like, damn, dude.
Some people don't admire the time and effort we put into these cars or these trucks. Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah, but it was a good time. It was a good experience. I mean, I bought it to have a cool truck, but then also like I didn't realize what was going to come along with it, like the experiences. And not only did I get to experience a lot of this stuff, but I was able to bring Carlos. I don't know if you ever
Yeah, Carlos was there too.
really went.
which time.
Like I remember, like Chris went with me a lot of the things that I did with the truck. I feel like Chris was involved with it, but I don't. Did
I was there for a few of them.
We had fun with it
Because I remember one of the reasons that you got rid of it was they were giving you crap at work for driving it on there.
Well, it's just
for
a bad
having it there.
representation of the company. That's why they wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, you got this big ass truck, right? You pull up
Yeah.
to work and they're like, what the fuck is this?
And then you got the vet and
Yeah, everybody's like, wow, yeah, the Corvette, nice. very
Yeah,
nice.
presentation is everything with a company, especially a corporation company
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
You look like a hoodlum driving a big ass truck. in front
Yeah,
of a
100%.
Oh yeah, 1000%. Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that short story of how Chris's Duramax came together and how it went from stock to lifted on 46s. So for anybody who hasn't really experienced what a diesel truck and the performance it does, I could say that he had those 46-inch tall tires. He could spin those tires all day and do a burnout. That's how much power those trucks put in. They come in like an HD package, so they're built with bigger and beefier parts. That way you don't break things often, because with those trucks, they're made to haul trailers and for work, I mean, pretty much. So when you lift them, the mileage stays the same, your powertrain is still the same, and you might have a little bit more wear and tear on the suspension, but that third coast lift that he put on it was pretty beefy itself. So growing up in Florida, we're used to seeing lifted trucks all the time. I mean, it's normal seeing a truck that's lifted on big tires going down the highway up I-4 or the 528, because I think it's more of a culture thing being down south, because we like to go mudding, we like off-roading stuff. So I mean, lifted trucks are always fun. That's what I've always liked. We never were intentionally trying to endanger anybody or break the law. So, but the truck was fun to have back when we were younger. But I think in the future, Chris will probably get like a Silverado, like a 6-inch lift on it next time. It's a shame seeing it burnt down in the forest. So stay tuned. We got more videos coming. I finally got the rock lights put on my truck. They look really nice with all the different colors. So be on the lookout for that video coming out real soon with the rock lights. I did the full install. I did the full like how-to of how to install it on the Silverado. We kind of got innovative with the magnets and the mounts, but that video is coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. If you stuck around this long, leave a like. It means a lot to the channel, and be sure to subscribe. You'll see more content coming out with the trucks and the podcast, which is coming very soon too. We've got a lot of work to do with the podcast, getting the video set up. That's the next big thing we got going on. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a good day.